everyone. Welcome back to Postscript. Today we're covering Season 2, Episode 5, The Last Man.
It's the cricket episode. I can't wait to talk about what we've watched. So, Christina, let's get into it. Cricket, Hugh, Tricky Woo. I love this episode. There were so many great moments.
Yeah, how about we kick things off with the showdown we've all been waiting for. Hugh is back.
I know.
So, Hugh's back. James's bliss is over. Mm-hmm. And Hugh calls Skeldale House because he has a bull that needs ringing. Later, we find out that this bull is for the Aldersons to say sorry for mucking up the sale of Clive and almost ruining the Aldersons' entire reputation.
I know. Which is a big deal.
I think it's literally the least he could do for all the trouble he nearly caused them. But back at the estate, Hugh is cordial enough. He and James are making small talk. And during the bull ringing, Hugh questions James about administering a local anesthetic before punching a hole in the bull's nose.
Yeah, so I did do like a closer look on this.
Okay.
It's a short, small one. Really, it's the bull ringing is just, what we saw, which is poking, like
a piercing.
It's like a nose piercing on your, is that the septum, I think? Yeah.
I think so.
And then it's really just to kind of like control the bull.
Really?
Yeah, because it's so like, I don't know, so many nerve endings in there.
Oh, so, God. Well, good thing that he did the local anesthetic then.
Yes. Yeah. So it's pretty painful. I'm glad that he had people holding the bull back.
But not enough, if you remember.
Yes, exactly. But they put bulls like down now, like anesthetic. Like
they like knock them out.
Under. Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes. I guess it depends on the person in the vet. I'm pretty sure they knock them out to put this in.
Back in James's day, though, it was odd that he administered a local anesthetic. So what did they do? Like, this bull would have been so angry.
I guess. I did read online on the Google that some of them, will put them out. But yeah, it's just to kind of like control the bull so that they don't go rogue on you and hurt you.
Okay.
Poor James.
So we're done with the bull ringing. And Hugh is now taking this opportunity to ask James if he missed anything while he was in France. He says, no great Darrowby dramas? Have you seen much of Helen?
He's poking.
And James is like dancing around it, like avoiding the whole topic. So I'm pretty sure that Hugh knows that James swooped in on Helen. I think he had his suspicions before he left for France.
Oh, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that Margot updated him.
Oh, well, that is true.
Because they were friends.
At dinner.
Yeah. And she was at the dinner. She saw Helen and James. So she probably updated him when he got back.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
Had to.
She was
somebody
meddling.
had to tell him. So then he's like, "Are you gonna tell me?" And James is just like
dancing around the whole thing.
I'm not telling you anything.
I haven't seen that much of Helen. No. And the bull knocks James over, and Hugh and his men seem really happy about it. So I felt like that was also a clue that Hugh knows.
Yes, definitely.
Back at the Skeldale house, we see that James is covered in muck and bruised, and he's also pretty salty about Hugh. Mrs. Hall kind of asks about it, and he's like, oh, Hugh's fine. Better than fine. He's full of the joys of spring. Like, how dare Hugh be so casual and chill about this?
I know, right?
And Mrs. Hall reminds James that it's best that Hugh finds out about James and Helen from Helen, since she was the one that
I agree with her.
I think, I don't know. James is in a really awkward position there because he doesn't know if Helen has said anything, if she wants to say anything.
I think James knows that Hugh and Helen haven't spoken yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't there letters? Didn't we find out about letters? Oh, yeah. Because Jenny was telling him about the letters that he was...
But I don't think Helen ever wrote him back.
Oh, true. That might have been established and I'm just forgetting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that she hasn't really talked to him since he's come back from France.
So he's being respectful of her boundaries.
James is being respectful of that. Plus, he's like, I don't want to do this.
I'm not. There's a big bull in front of me. I'm not talking about it now.
You're gonna tell your men to let him go and come after me.
Oh. But now that Hugh is back, Helen is worried that because he wants to meet with the family, that he's going to tell them that he's not renewing the lease on their farm. Mm-hmm. I don't remember them establishing that I knew he was a landowner. I didn't realize that he was leasing the farmland to the Aldersons.
I didn't know that. And that's a little muddy. Like, why are you dating her if you own where she lives?
Yeah, that's just very does feel like a weird power dynamic there.
Yeah, it did. And she was so worried. And remember, her dad said, she was like, well, what if he doesn't renew it because of our relationship? And he said, well, then that just really proves you shouldn't have been with him.
Yeah.
That was really sweet of him.
Her dad's so cool.
Yeah.
When Hugh arrives, we find out that she was worried for nothing. Hugh renews their lease. He's also taken the added step of adding Helen and Jenny to the lease and gives them the prize bull that James put a ring in earlier.
Mm-hmm. He's not such a jerk after all.
Dang it. He's not a jerk. And the whole family seems really confused about why he's being so nice. I think they're assuming he's trying to win Helen back, maybe. Like, it kind of raised the question in my head, like, why is he going above and beyond?
Yeah, Jenny's, like, her face was like, oh, this is cool, another bowl. And then she, like, looks back. Yeah. And you see, like, Helen and her dad are just, they're the look of shock. And her dad's like, what? Happening? Why are you giving this to us? He's like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah, it's a very awkward situation. And Helen, I think also, I mean, again, it's that power dynamic. He has all his money. He's being so nice. Like, it's just, it seems very uncomfortable and weird. Mm-hmm. When James checks up on Helen after Hugh's arrival, he finds out about the bull being gifted to the family, and he starts to sweat.
I know, James is like, I can't gift you a bull. I'm just a vet.
So when he finds out that Mr. Alderson needs another cricket player, he immediately volunteers, except he's not much of a cricketer, and we'll talk about that later.
I'm excited for that.
Meanwhile, Helen and Jenny debate over whether or not the bull should keep, whether or not the family.
The bull should keep the family?
Let me whether or not the family should keep the bull. And Mr. Alderson leaves it entirely up to Helen. So I personally love how Helen's dad just trusts her to, like, make these decisions without adding any pressure whatsoever. Like,
yeah.
I guess that's why, like, work regardless of your decision.
Yeah, I guess that's why Helen's always very calm in some situations. She's always like, she doesn't just like jump to immediate conclusions. She doesn't jump the gun. She's very, what's the word? All I can think of is calm right now. But
I was going to say methodical.
Yes.
Yeah, she takes I need to do that myself, where you just take a minute and you pause and you go, well, I don't need to make a decision right now.
Yeah.
And I've gotten better at that, but I'm still not good at it. So that brings us to a question. If you were gifted, if you were in Helen's shoes, what would you do? Like, would you keep the bull or would you, like, give it back?
Gosh, I'm not sure, but we actually had a fan write in. We have some fan mail here. Okay. So Amy from Lehigh Valley, she emailed us and said, "Hi, Postscript. I have an opinion about Hugh Holton gifting Monty the bull to the Aldersons. I think this action of Hugh may have been love bombing or a manipulation tactic." Ooh.
Okay.
I personally would have had a really hard time choosing to keep the bull. But also, I wouldn't want to ruin the peace with Hugh and the Aldersons either. But by keeping the bull, are the Aldersons holding a torch for Helen and Hugh to rekindle their relationship, even though it's very much over? Thanks for creating such awesome content. Oh, thanks, Amy. So sweet.
So that's kind of along the line. Like, I got this feeling like Hugh was trying to bribe the family, essentially.
Really?
Like, win them over again. I didn't feel like he was necessarily... I don't want to say that it was nefarious. I don't think he intentionally did this to make them feel awkward or beholden to him. But I feel like underlying all that was just like, I have money, you don't. Here's a bull because I can help you, and I almost ruined everything. Which,
see,
I mean,
I didn't get
fair.
that. I didn't get that.
Like, if Helen had decided to keep that bull, I'd be like, you deserve that, girl.
I saw it as he actually felt really bad about the whole bull buying situation. Or like, that's how I thought of it. Yeah. I thought that he was just like, listen, this whole thing happened, and then I'm sure that like led to Helen's, he's probably like, this led to Helen's decision to not, she can't trust me. We're not getting married anymore. This whole big thing.
And
then he goes off to France.
Like, I can see it. I can see that argument.
And then he comes back and he never got to actually apologize for the whole bull thing.
Do you think it's because you're Team Hugh, or you were Team Hugh?
I was.
And I was always
Come on,
Team
he's
James.
Neville Longbottom. I love him.
I just feel like the power dynamic there is so lopsided that I just suspect too much, and I'm probably reading too much into it. Maybe he is just genuinely a nice guy. I mean, he doesn't seem like a bad guy, at least.
No, I think he wants to be a good guy.
He just doesn't know how to do it in a healthy way.
I guess. I mean, I guess he's just like, I have the money. I know you need a bowl.
Right, and I almost ruined everything.
So I'm going to give you a bowl.
Right.
Because that's what I want. But, them not taking a handout, like, good for them.
Yeah.
They're we don't take handouts.
I can see both of those sides. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about the big cricket game of the year. If you have any thoughts, opinions, or questions about the show, share them with us at postscript@witf.org. We'd love to hear from you.
Support for all creatures, great and small, on Masterpiece is made possible locally by WITF members and by Pleasant View Communities, UPMC, Murray, and Argiers Murati Neurosurgical Associates of Lancaster.
Welcome back. Now let's talk about what we are all excited about, the cricket match.
Yes, it's the event of the season. I absolutely love sports. Mrs. Pumphrey throws this big to-do. Everyone in Derby is excited for it, but we have a slight problem. Tristan is sitting out.
Oh, man.
Not a fan of that.
Yep, Tristan, who actually is fairly good at cricket. Mm-hmm. So we find out early in the episode that the Yorkshiremen's team is a player short for the game on Sunday. Siegfried tries to talk Tristan into joining the team, but Tristan refuses because it's for local farmers and vets by invitation only, and he is neither.
I love Tristan so much.
He's got so much sass.
He's like, I'm neither, Siegfried. I'm neither.
After volunteering to be on Richard's cricket team, James finds out this is not a friendly match, and that the honor of the entire town rides on him not blowing it. Like, this is really intense. I feel for James. He's just like, it was just a friendly cricket match.
Hey, you want to play?
Deal.
It'll be fun. But really, everything relies on you.
So I think it's Siegfried that says, once a year, the Derby 11 goes up against the might of Holton Hall's invited gentlemen playing for the honor of Derby. And then I think Tristan adds and gets annihilated, but I don't remember exactly how that goes.
Sounds like something Tristan would say.
James admits that he doesn't play much cricket, and he's reading a book about cricket.
Yes. So the book was like, I mean, they did such a huge they did a close shot of it. Like, it was very apparent, this book.
Right.
So of course I had to look into it. So I did a closer look on it.
I was like, oh, it's cricket for dummies. That's what my brain did.
Essentially. Well, it started with How's That? And I was like, what are they reading? But anyway, so it says, How's That? It's Every Cricketer's Guide to Umpiring by H.W. Lee.
Okay.
Henry Lee. England and Middlesex, 1938. Okay. So the foreword was written by G.O. Allen. I just wanted to say a little bit about the foreword because I didn't get the book or read it.
Right.
So the foreword,
wonder if the library has it.
Oh, that's a good question. I should have found that out. So the book talks about cricket players, or the foreword mentions how cricket players don't really read the rules of the game, that they have to interpret, and sometimes that's very frustrating for an umpire. Sounds similar to other sports. But if you read the umpire book, it gives the reader, and I quote, self-confidence, which is halfway towards making a respectable club umpire. Experience will do the rest. I loved it. And as of the time of writing the book, Harry Lee, who wrote the book, he had about 40 years accumulation of cricket wisdom. So he knew this game.
He knew the game inside and out. And so that's why he wrote Cricket for Dummies.
Yep. Okay. And you can get
I need that book because I had no idea what was going on this whole cricket match.
Yeah. And so James was reading about umpiring so he could understand the rules of the game.
That feels very James, actually.
It does.
Because he's really by the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, let's learn the rules of the game, not just like how to play. Like, let's find out, it's a very interesting way to learn. But you can get the book on eBay.
Okay.
It's $14.99 GBP, which is about it says $18.37.
That's
in US
not
dollars.
Actually that expensive.
No.
Is it like a reprint or is this the original copy?
That would involve me reading a little more into it. So I don't know. Not too bad. Not too bad.
So he's studying the rules of the game.
Yes.
And Siegfried offers instead to train James because he realizes that he's in way over his head. And they end up playing in the hallway. I'm like, somebody's window is going to get smashed.
This was amazing. So first of all, I thought, like, I don't know cricket. So I thought that it was like, okay, well, they're playing in the house. They can't actually, like, really break anything. But no, like, you could have broken something.
Right. You swing. You swing at the ball. You throw the ball.
This big, like
there's
paddle.
A whole lot of things that could get broken. And so I guess it kind of adds some weight to the whole, this is the cricket match of the year because like Siegfried's willing to sacrifice all of the breakable things in his house to teach James how to play cricket.
It's not that they don't have some really nice outside area where their car's parked that they could play.
Like, they could play out in the street.
We'll do it in the hall. I mean, I guess they're just trying to get James down on more specific, like the fundamentals.
The very basics, yeah. Because at one point, like Siegfried is trying to teach James, but he's telling him all these different rules. And Tristan kind of takes over and tells him like the very, very basics.
Yeah.
So then,
just block it.
The Farnan brothers, they fight about what James needs to know for the cricket match. And we find out this is not about James. They're just like really mad at each other.
Oh, yeah.
Tristan's still refusing to like help Siegfried or play because he's, understandably salty about being humiliated. But Tristan's tip worked. He worked through this with James, and James got the basics, and he actually like did the right thing.
Yeah.
So this is Siegfried's first clue that maybe he should pay attention to Tristan and let him take the reins sometimes, because Siegfried is still refusing to apologize. Like, it's driving me crazy.
It is.
Like,
driving me
just apologize. You were wrong.
Yeah.
But the brothers also share a moment reminiscing about their dad. So there is a touching moment in here, too. Because Tristan remembers him coming to his cricket matches. And Siegfried's like, well, he never came to my cricket matches. So we see there's like there was a different dynamic between the two brothers and their dad.
I always loved when my parents would come watch me play my sports. Oh, yeah.
I played sports because my dad wanted me to, and I hate sports. So once my sister came up and she was much better at sports, I just kind of let her take over. I feel bad about that, actually. I still feel bad about that.
Hey, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's not my strength.
Yeah.
On to the cricket match. Mrs. Pumphrey welcomes everyone to her cricket pitch. It's a huge, open, sprawling field.
It is.
It's
really
amazing. So, Beth, I was so lost. Beth, do you know anything about cricket?
So, no, but so if you watching the episode, I saw a lot of similarities from baseball. You know what I mean? Because American baseball,
that's what we are familiar with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm familiar with. And producer Allie told me that is where like we got our rules from cricket.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty cool. But then, of course, I really want to know more about cricket. So I did a closer look on it, and ICC-cricket.com said that the first reference of cricket being played as an adult sport was in 1611.
Wow.
Yep. And then in the same year, a dictionary defined cricket as a boys' game.
A boys' game.
Womp, womp, womp.
Boo.
I bet I could play cricket. I might not be good at it, but I played field hockey, and it kind of looks like, the way you're holding the paddle and hitting the ball.
It seems like it's something that women would be fully capable of playing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We should redefine that if it's not already redefined.
I'm sure.
But anyway. So village cricket developed by the middle of the 17th century. And the first English county teams were formed in the second half of the century.
Okay.
So it took them a pretty long time to actually get like teams down and that kind of thing. Right?
Okay.
So then I went to more Google stuff and found in Britannica that the game of cricket. So I learned a lot about the game of cricket.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read what, is there. But it's played with a bat and a ball, involves two competing sides of 11 players. We saw that.
Okay, yes.
So the field is oval.
Okay.
So we didn't really see that part. So it's a big oval.
It's ovular, yes.
Yes. And then there's a rectangular area in the middle, and that's called the pitch.
Okay.
So there's 2 sets of 3 sticks. They're called the wickets, and they're set
We
in the
saw those, yep.
at each end of the pitch. And then across from each wicket lie horizontal pieces, and those are called the bails.
Okay.
Okay, so then you hit the wicket and you knock down a bail. And the sides take turns batting and bowling.
Okay.
Which
and
is
bowling
pitching.
is pitching.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And each turn is called an innings.
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 Okay.
Always plural.
Okay.
It's not inning. It's innings.
Is it 2? Is it always 2?
Each turn
Okay.
is called an innings.
Oh, each turn. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
I
like
missed it.
when Hugh's team was playing, that's an innings.
Okay.
And then when
Okay.
the other team, the Derby, the vets and the
farmers.
are playing, that's an innings,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Got it. I think I understand.
That's what I understand from it. And then sides have 1 or 2 innings each, the object being to score the most runs. The bowlers delivering the ball with a straight arm, trying to break or hit the wicket with the ball so that the bails fall.
Okay, so they are aiming for those sticks, and that could explain why Hugh just like slams a ball into somebody at one point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of several ways that the batsman is dismissed or put out. And then a bowler delivers 6 balls at 1 wicket, and thus completing an over. Okay. And then a different player from his side bowls 6 balls to the opposite wicket, and the
Okay.
batting side defends its wicket.
Okay.
So I tried reading more. It's very confusing. I think I need somebody to explain this to me so that I can explain it to others versus just reading it. That's just so confusing to me.
Right now I feel a lot like Margot, who seemed like she was there for the eye candy and not so much the actual game.
That would be me. I'd just be like, go! And then somebody would be like, no, that's wrong. I'd be like, I'm
sure
sorry.
when you actually play it, it's probably very, like, it looks like it makes sense when you're playing it.
Oh, yeah.
But I still had no idea what was going on. We need a Mrs. Hall.
Yes,
we need
we
a
need
Mrs.
Mrs.
Hall
Hall.
to explain
But we also
it to
need
us.
to play cricket.
That could be fun,
I think we should have a
actually.
game
Yeah.
of cricket somewhere.
But first we have to know the rules.
Somebody could be there to teach us the rules, right? Anybody?
Oh, okay. So that was your...
That's
that was
my
your
cricket.
pitch?
That's my
Okay.
cricket closer look.
All right. Okay. So we'll move on. We're at the cricket match. And we find out, because the young Reds show up, that Mr. Alderson is down another player.
I know. Poor guy.
So Tristan's there. Mrs. Hall talks him into playing. And Siegfried got his way now without ever having to apologize. And I wrote, ugh, cricket is a great uniter. The game begins. Hugh and James are facing off on the field. And Holton scores and scores and scores and scores. And eventually the innings.
Yes.
That innings comes to an end, and like
It's called a declaration.
Okay.
Because Mrs. Pumphrey says, the declaration.
Okay.
It's like,
There's
so
a
he declares.
declaration.
Yeah. They're at 138 points.
They need a tea break. And
yeah,
they've scored
so we need tea.
so much.
I'm exhausted. Oh my gosh. Did you watch James running?
It was
I
so
can't.
awkward.
I can't, because he played football, soccer in U.S. Soccer, but he in the show he's played football.
Right. He says he's played football in the show.
You don't
and
run
he's
like
actually
that
played
if you've
football
played football.
as
And then
an
he
actor.
actually, yes, him as a human being person has played football, but you don't run like that.
No, it was very awkward.
He's really acting
They were
that
really
out.
like playing that up. Like he felt like the little kid that's playing Little League for the first time and is like more distracted by the flowers in the field. Like there's even a moment where he's not looking. He's like waving at somebody off screen or something, and then the ball
Let me
goes
just
right
pick
past
the little
him.
daffodil. Oh, look at this butterfly.
look.
That was me during a softball
Oh
game.
my
before.
gosh! So yeah, he runs real funny, and it's a little overacted. I feel like it's a little overacted. It's a little exaggerated.
I noticed it, and I was like, wait a minute, this guy knows how to run. Wait, he's a runner. Oh my gosh, he doesn't run like that when he runs through the streets.
No,
He runs
No,
in
that's true. Oh my gosh!
Just realized that.
What is that?
I don't know.
So they break for tea. Earl and we get to see like Holton's team is annihilating Mr. Alderson's team. We also see Margot blowing a kiss to Hugh at one point.
I did not catch that.
And okay.
I did
was
not.
like, is that Margot? And then when Margot comes up and talks to Helen, I was like, it is Margot.
She was a little awkward talking to Helen. I did notice that.
Because Hugh and Margot are together, but she's trying to be sly about it, and I don't think she's sly. And Helen is so observant. I'm surprised she didn't catch that something was off. Well, she did know that something's off because she looked kind of like confused.
Yes.
But she didn't put 2 and 2 together. And this made me think, do we think Margot had a thing for Hugh like her entire life, and that's why she was so salty at dinner?
Maybe.
At Tristan's birthday dinner?
That could be it. That could be it.
Earlier in the episode, Mrs. Hall finally called Mr. Hammond about that broken clock, and that's when we found out that Gerald isn't much into cricket, but Mrs. Hall is, and he asked if she'll be at the match, and that was very smooth.
Yes.
He found out where she was, and he was like, definitely be there.
Uh-huh.
And at the match, during the tea break, Gerald brings Mrs. Hall a drink because he's
so
a nice
sweet.
man.
He really likes her.
Audrey's trying to teach him a little bit about cricket, specifically about how James is messing it up so badly. And later in the episode, he also invites Audrey to go walking with him under the guise of walking the dogs, and she accepts. Yay! And Helen looks over and is really happy. Everyone's really happy that Mrs. Hall and Gerald might get together. Mm-hmm. Helen also takes this moment to apologize to Hugh for leaving him at the altar, and he admits that he was devastated. But once the worst happens, it's kind of freeing.
Yeah.
And he admits that they were good pals, but it was never a grand passion because he has another girlfriend now. Mm-hmm. And maybe one day they can be pals again.
I thought that was really cute.
Yeah. And Helen tells him here that she can't accept the bull. They pay their own way. They always have. And Hugh thinks James is playing cricket to impress Helen's dad, which he is, and also
Hugh knows.
Because of Hugh.
Yeah.
And she's awkward about it, but now Hugh knows, and it's all out of the bag that Helen and Hugh are together. And as Hugh walks away, he gives her a peck on the cheek.
Which was really nice.
It was just a peck on the cheek. It was very friendly.
Yeah, it was really cute.
James gets so jealous over it.
I never saw that before from him.
So out of character. I didn't love it. And he comes over and he's like, what was he kissing you for? And I'm like, James, don't mess this up.
Yeah, but then Helen keeps her cool again. Like, dude, calm down. It was just a kiss on the cheek.
Oh, that was nothing.
She's like, that's nothing. I'm not accepting the bowl. And he's like,
and he seems really relieved about it.
Yeah, he's so relieved.
And I guess Tristan also makes a comment about Hugh trying to embarrass James on the field too, which was observant because he is. He's trying to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
which is super funny and exactly something I would say.
Yeah, it's just so petty.
I loved it. All right, so how about we take another quick break? Yep. We'll come back to talk about the second half of the match and Tricky Woo's romance.
Oh, I love it.
Support for all creatures, great and small, on Masterpiece is made possible locally by WITF members and by Pleasant View Communities, UPMC, Murray, and Argiers Murati Neurosurgical Associates of Lancaster.
Welcome back. Of course, we have to wrap things up with the second half of the match and our favorite star who's been having a love adventure of his own, Tricky Woo.
I love Tricky. I can't wait. All right. Let's get to cricket.
So in the cricket match, so we're back and the farmers and the vets are up. Tristan's at bat first and he takes this lovely shot. They're on the board. They're scoring. Everyone's doing well. And then things kind of go south after Hugh, takes out a batter. He throws the ball. It looks directly at his chest.
Yes.
And he takes it to the face and he's all bloody when he gets up.
Oh my gosh. So bloody. I was like,
very dramatic.
And he's out. That's the crazy thing about cricket that I don't understand.
He's rude.
He's out. Not Hugh is out. It's the batter that's
the batter's out. Who's already bloody.
He's bleeding. And he doesn't get to stay in the game.
Right. And this unfortunately means that James is up to bat. Mm-hmm. But if Hugh doesn't get him out, it's a draw.
Well, Siegfried was up after that.
Oh, Siegfried was up.
Siegfried gets out super quick.
Okay, and then it's James.
James.
It must have been so fast that
we had to say Siegfried. He got a chance and he blew it.
So yeah, James is up. It all rests on James. Mr. Otterson says a draw is as good as a win, so his expectations are very low. And James ends up taking a ball to the gut. but he's still standing. So I don't know if that's like the rules of cricket is if you fall down, you're out. I don't know.
I have no idea, but it was like the same spot where the bull hit him.
Right.
So like his ribs really
poor thing.
And then he fell earlier in the game.
He did.
Poor James getting beat up.
Clumsily going after a ball.
Yeah.
He takes a ball to the gut, but he's still standing. He makes contact, and it's a strike. Because I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
But it's a strike.
I guess because it did go backwards. It didn't go forward.
Well, but Tristan ran. Like, it was worth trying for. So
yes, it's always worth trying.
Okay.
But like
it's always worth trying.
In American baseball, if it goes before the line.
Okay.
It on the the first baseline.
Okay.
So from the home plate where you bat all the way to the outfield, there's a line to make that
the foul line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a strike.
Could be okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Either way.
I think so. Maybe it's a foul.
It's a strike.
Maybe it's
so
called a strike.
He has to go again. And Tristan says, just block the ball the same as before, and Hugh will cry into his beer. So James looks at Helen and stares down Hugh.
Oh my gosh, all the drama.
Rageful. Like, he looks so mad. There's so much drama here. He should not be this mad. Like, he was just off in France.
That's a really good acting, though,
but
with the
he
face.
was rageful. He was just filled with it.
Yes.
And after James looks at Helen, I guess he decides that he's going to miss, in quotes. He's going to just let it happen. And Hugh gets a silly victory, but he's really happy about it.
Yeah.
Because I guess he doesn't know that, James just threw the whole game for him on his behalf.
Yeah.
And but Tristan knows.
Yes.
Tristan knows that James purposely stepped out away from the wicket.
Mm-hmm. And James is like, why would I do that?
Why would I do such a thing? Hugh shakes James' hand after the match, and it's confirmed that James blew the game because he felt he owed Hugh a win when he's talking to Helen. Helen says that she loves him for it.
I was like, yeah,
she loves him.
Oh my gosh.
It's out.
Woo! Finally.
And then Tristan and Siegfried have another little moment where Siegfried tells Tristan that their dad would have been really proud of him today.
Yeah.
They share a beer, and Siegfried finally apologizes.
Oh my gosh. Finally.
It finally happened. Oh my
Siegfried.
gosh. So frustrating. But it finally happened. Siegfried shares that their dad never visited him at school. He only took him out on the rounds. So he went out and helped with the animals. Tristan went off to school. So it was a whole different dynamic between the two brothers. And Siegfried also offers to pay for Tristan's school should he want to go back. He's leaving it completely up to Tristan. Which is
letting go of the lead.
talk about like a 180. Oh yeah. Like Siegfried, something about his conversation about Tricky Woo's neutering sparked something in his head with Mrs. Pumphrey. It's weird. So we also get another confirmation. Hugh and Margot are an item.
Which I did not catch until that exact moment.
And Tristan has missed his chance with Margot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Poor Tristan. But on to the next thing. He doesn't seem too sad.
No.
But you know who's not going to miss their chance?
Who?
Tricky Woo.
Oh, yeah.
Tricky Woo has a romance.
He does.
Yes. So I did a little bit of a closer look on Tricky Woo.
Okay.
And I found
he's the star of the show.
Exactly. It's the moment everybody's all been waiting for. He's the star
really
of the show.
The moment.
So the veterinarian, a little bit of the background is that all of the veterinarian's patients come from 2 animal handling companies.
Okay.
For this show. Okay, I found this out online. Google. Gotta love it. First Choice Animals, which supplies most of the farm animals, domestic pets, and Atkinson Action Horses. And that gives all the majestic steeds that populate the farms of Derby.
Okay.
So both companies have storied histories working with TV and film. And First Choice was started by Jill Clark 40 years ago.
Wow, okay.
I know.
And this is just like a casting agency for the animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Mark Atkinson is the founder of Atkinson Action Heroes.
Okay.
Yep. And
those are the ones they cast in action films.
Yep. Yeah. And for over 25 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
I know. But then I also wanted to know, who's Tricky Woo? Are there multiple Tricky Woos?
Right.
Is there a fake Tricky Woo? That was my biggest question, but I don't think there is. Because I didn't find that out.
Very well trained.
Yes. But in this article on Variety, it says that Tricky Woo, the most prominently featured patient in the series, of course. He's played by a Pekingese dog named Derek.
Derek.
I know. It's so cute.
Little fluff butt.
He is such a major part of the cast that his name is actually featured in the end credits.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't think I ever noticed. I'm going to watch next time.
I know. I'm going to notice. I'm going to look for that too.
Just Derek.
I know. Just Derek. One of the first things Clark did when she got hired to work on All Creatures Great and Small was try and find a Pekingese who would play Tricky. But at first she had like no luck.
Okay.
So, but one night, while she was having a dinner party with friends, a woman who used to breed Pekingese turned up to her house looking to rehome Derek.
Oh my gosh.
And she knew that he would be the perfect part.
It's fate.
It's
destiny.
He would be perfect. She actually, and then this is quotes from her, he's an absolute dog in a million. Yes. He just is tricky. He plays the part perfectly. He's the first one in the makeup chair because he has quite a dark face. So he has his own makeup artist that touch him up before he goes on set. I love it.
Yeah, because his face is so dark. I think I read that they have to like lighten parts of his eyes so that they're not just lost to his fur.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's such a cutie.
He's got a makeup artist.
Yeah. And he records for about 20 minutes at a time, and then he goes to a cool room to wait.
Oh, that's so nice.
I know.
He gets lots of breaks.
I know. He's so cute. I love Tricky. Oh, my goodness. Can you tell us about Mrs. Pumphrey and Tricky a little bit?
Yes. Tricky Woo is having a problem that requires the utmost discretion. He's feeling amorous. So he's going around, and I don't know how else to say this other than we have a humper. So he
she took his pillow away.
Oh no.
Oh, Tricky.
Nolly used to dominate her squeaky toys before we got her spayed. She's a girl. But she would dominate her little toys. We never took it away, but Matt was always really uncomfortable. Siegfried assures Mrs. Pumphrey that this behavior is completely normal and probably a result of him feeling better because he lost some weight. Because we remember he was a little bit overweight, a little chubby.
Because she's like, oh my gosh, he's never done this before.
Yeah, Mrs. Pumphrey is appalled. And she says he's just a baby. And isn't that true? They're just babies.
They are. They're always a puppy no matter the age.
He's never shown the slightest interest in that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. She's just dancing around this. We also find out that Tricky has a thing for Mr. Hanshaw's dog, Bella.
Yes, it's another romance I was mentioning.
And I was like so excited. I'm like, oh, another romance, yes.
Yes. What are we at, like 8 relationships or something? 9?
I don't know. I have to sit down and count them.
Maybe 10 if we add in Hugh and Margot.
Siegfried tells Mrs. Pumphrey that all they can do to discourage his amorous behavior is to neuter him because the heart wants what it wants.
Can't stop it.
So Mrs. Pumphrey calls Siegfried again later in the episode because Tricky Woo has run off to Mr. Hanshaw's yard.
Mm-hmm. He's looking for Bella.
She asks him to retrieve him and make sure he acts just like he's passing by to protect Tricky Woo's privacy.
Yes.
Which just, the dog doesn't care.
Oh, no, but she thinks he does. She thinks he does. It's great.
Mr. Hanshaw is like super chill about his dog possibly being pregnant. Mm-hmm. And it's decided that Tricky Woo's getting neutered and like, sorry, sweet boy, but say goodbye to your manhood.
Yeah, this poor dog.
So we actually just recently got a dog that we are naming Irving.
Aww.
And he is the only boy outside of Matt that lives in our house.
Oh my gosh, really? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, all of our other animals are girls. We tried, we had a boy cat, but he didn't last long. Like, he wasn't meant for this world, so he passed away pretty early. He was just a kitten. But so this is our attempt number 2 for a a boy animal in our house. And he's definitely getting neutered. He already peed on the floor trying to mark territory.
Oh my goodness. My whole house is boys except Cookie. It's just me and Cookie.
Yeah.
All of them are boys. Like, this is great.
Matt's kind of weird about it. He likes having girl pets, but we both just fell in love with Irving like immediately. So
yeah, my mom always said
the heart wants what it wants.
Yeah, my mom always said she wanted a girl because boys pick their leg up so they could pee on the couch. But a girl just has to pee on the floor. And I was like, oh, I think Cookie could pee on your couch if you wanted her to.
Oh, we definitely had a couch piddler when we had just girls. And Nolly will pick her leg up to pee when she's outside.
Really?
Yeah, it's a way they make themselves bigger, actually. It's not really a necessity. It makes them look bigger.
So my mom's dog, who not recently, a year ago passed, she would pick her one leg up. Okay. And it's to make her bigger?
Yeah.
She's a Yorkie. Kind of like she's like 3 pounds.
Yeah, like to show dominance or like to show that they're scary. I'm pretty sure that it's like a way to make themselves bigger.
I didn't know. That's interesting.
Yeah. But later, okay, so they decide that Tricky's getting neutered. But later at the cricket match, Mrs. Pumphrey compliments Tristan's cricket skills and then starts talking about Tricky Woo's surgery again. And it's decided that she doesn't want to deprive him of like his best life. And so if Mr. Hanshaw has an arrangement, he's okay with it, like, why not let him just go and be with Bella?
She was worried about his personality because she did ask Siegfried, like, is this going to change him? And it does. Like when you neuter
Nolly's exactly the same.
Well, when you neuter a dog, so it's supposed to kind of like calm them down a little bit. You know,
that's the same with the spay, and it didn't work with Nolly.
Oh, well, good luck with Irving.
We'll see with Irving.
It's supposed to do that. So she was like, well, I don't want Tricky to be any different than what he is
right now.
She
loves him exactly as he is.
Exactly. So should we do this? Should we not? And then Siegfried, he really goes in and says, take him off the lead. Let him be who he wants to be.
Right, while he's looking at Tristan.
It's like,
it was a very weird connection, but like that moment, I'm just not going to question it. Like that was the moment that Siegfried, I think, decided that Tristan had value.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. And that he's actually going to apologize.
So, yeah, she lets Tricky off his leash, and we just see him gallop off through the field.
Oh, my gosh, that was adorable.
Butt flying through the air.
All the hair.
He's going to find Bella.
Yes.
And later, Mrs. Pumphrey explains his absence by saying that Tricky has some personal business to attend to. And Tricky and Bella find each other in a field, and they're so happy, and they're going to have their little spicy dog romance.
I loved it. Maybe we'll have puppies.
Made me so happy.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine more Tricky puppies?
Oh my gosh,
yes!
That would be so cute. And they're going to be like little Tricky mutts.
Oh, yes.
So I love it.
Oh my gosh, are we so cute?
I want puppies.
Oh, I want a puppy. Casey's going to be like, no puppies.
Irving is a year or a year and a half, according to the vet. So we have a little bit of puppy energy in our house, and I'm not sure I'm a fan, actually. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna see if Tricky woos Bella.
Yes.
Helen and Hugh are good.
Yeah, they seem pretty
Everyone
good.
seems like ready to do their happily ever after. So, is there anything in particular you want to see next?
I don't want Hugh to go away.
You want Hugh to stay?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous because
you think his storyline has kind of ended?
It could be. I mean, he's on good terms with Helen. Him and James seem good. So he seems kind of like tightened up and done. But like, I'm a little nervous that they're going to like, not like get rid of him, but like get rid of him. You know what I mean?
Right. Like he's not going to be on the show.
I know.
Regularly.
I like him too much. I really hope he stays. I'm not sure. Maybe Margot and him. Maybe we'll see that.
Maybe this is just me spitballing here, but maybe there will be a love triangle between Tristan and Hugh. Maybe he will lose again. That would be terrible.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
Never mind. Hugh. We don't want that to happen. Hugh's not that bad of a guy.
or just I don't know. Give me a spin-off of Hugh and his adventures in France.
Oh,
and
there
all
you
of
go.
Those lifestyle things.
Vacationing with Margot.
Yes, exactly. I'll take it.
Well, and finally, Helen told James that she loves him. So this is developing. This is getting a little bit deeper.
What's
it seems
up
really
next?
fast, but I guess it's over the course of a month or two.
Yes.
I mean, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there.
Exactly.
Thanks for listening to Postscript from WITF. We love watching along with you episode to episode.
That's right. If you have moments you love or wonder about, share your afterthoughts with us at postscript@witf.org or ps@witf.org.
This podcast was produced by Amorós for WITF. I'm Christina Zeiders.
And I'm Beth Cappello. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
We'd like to thank Pleasant View Communities, UPMC, Murray, Argiers Marathi Neurosurgical Associates of Lancaster, and WITF members for supporting all creatures great and small on WITF. Thank you.